Hello everyone, welcome to part 19 and my 10th recording of this particular episode. And today we're going to be talking about React routing. Now there is a lot to talk about, a lot. And it's actually pretty convenient because there's been some new updates to Symfony that is really going to help us out big time. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to talk about React routing, obviously. We are going to look at the Symfony router because we need to allow for bigger strings of routes to appear. We're going to update from Symfony 5.0 to 5.1. And the reason is because they recently added an amazing feature to routes, which is going to be super useful in our particular case. It solves a lot of problems. And then we're finally also going to upgrade our packages. So while we're updating Symfony, we're also going to update all our composer packages and yarn packages. And we're also going to look at something that might happen if you upgrade. There's a chance it might not, but for me, it did the first time. It didn't do the second time, but I want to make sure that if it does happen to you, that you know how to fix it. Links to everything in the description down below as well, including my GitHub, as well as what I'm going to be talking about to you next. So, but first of all, get up, check it out if you haven't already. Again, link in the description down below. GitHub.com/SantaCokart, React-Symfony-MIUI-to-do app, and check it out. The branch that we're going to be working on today is called the router branch. It's not up in here yet, but when the video is done, you will see it. With regards to upgrading the packages, first I want you to update Symfony to 5.1. So how to actually do that? Well, it's relatively simple. I was quite surprised. Go to composer.json and search for Symfony, which most likely is going to be way in the bottom. There it is. Extra Symfony require. And this is what we want to look at. So this for you is going to say 5.0. So change this to 5.1 dot and then a star. What this is going to do is it's going to implement Symfony 5.1. So actually let's double check. So here we can see, well, here I'm still on 5.0.10, quite strange. Let's refresh. Here we go, 5.1.2, great. So we did update. After you've done this, you're going to do composer upgrade, which is going to get all the required updated packages and add new features as well. And next to composer upgrade, for safe measure, do a composer install, just to be absolutely sure that everything's gone right. And then yarn upgrade as well to upgrade all your yarn packages. So all of your React router, I mean, you don't have it yet, React, the Material UI package, all of that's going to be updated using that command. So with that out of the way, what might happen if you've done your composer upgrade, you might see an error that looks a lot like unrecognized options, dir name, namespace under Doctor migrations. If you get an error that shows up like this, if you start up your server and you go to your application, it means it's because Doctor migrations have upgraded to from 2. Whatever to 3.0. The difference is going to be shown here. So this is before, this is the after, what you need to change. They're very clear about it. And links to this in the description down below as well. So if your composer upgrade triggers the Doctor migrations to update, which it did for me at first, but now doesn't replicate, then this is how you fix that bug or that problem if you face it. And there's also going to be a command that you can see in your bin/console as well that will sync up your old migrations to the new migrations, because migrations have changed a little bit, and you will have a command there that's new, which is all about sync metadata. Just run bin console, you'll see the command right there, and you can put it in. Another thing you need to change, if your migrations has updated, you want to go to your environment file, your env.local, and here you want to change that server version equals 5.7 to the actual server that you're using. It can no longer equal to server version 5.7. It will trigger an error. So what you want to do is here, put in the actual version of what you're using. So I'm using XAMPP. So I can go into the shell here and type in MySQL --version, and I get the version here, which is MariaDB 10.4.11. That's the version that I use. So I copy that and I just add a little server version behind here and then equals, and then that portion that I just pasted in here. So that has to be changed as well. Otherwise you're going to get, again, more errors. So with that all solved, and we've upgraded to Symfony 5.1, great. So now we can start on looking on the actual code. So this is all the changed files. So one notion here is you're going to create a new file under components here in the GS assets, not found. So you can add that already, and we're going to look at what has been inserted there in just a minute. First, we're going to look at the index controller. So I'm going to go to my version control. And we're going to look at the index controller to see what has changed. So here you can see that this is the old. On the left, this is the old. And here on the right, this is the new. So what we've done here is we have allowed for a parameter to be entered on the URL, because Symfony is really strict on the way it handles routes. If a route is going to, then it's going to look for exactly that. And if it doesn't find anything, you get a Symfony error. We don't want that. In case someone goes to a route that does not exist, we always want a 404 page to show up. So what I've done here is I've allowed for a parameter to be entered here. That parameter is, all the parameters in Symfony are always slashed by a slash. So by the slash, it will know that, okay, so we're going on to the next parameter or to the next thing that I need to look for. So by default, there's a regular expression on the route that looks for the slash. We can change that if we want. So in here, what I've added as well is a priority, which is new in Symfony 5.1, and this is why I've updated. This is super useful. And then defaults, which is going to talk about this parameter, this route param, which we can set then to a value. In this case, it's going to be null. So by default, it's not going to be entered at all. So defaults equals curly brackets, double quotation, string with React routing in there. You can call this whatever you want, of course. It depends on what you call your parameter. And in there, we set it to null after a colon. Then it's just, another thing that we added is requirements. So this is the regular expression that we are allowed to change. So here we can set the requirements for the React routing parameter to look for any character and between 0 and an unlimited amount of them, which is what the plus stands for. Just look for regular expression documentation. I'll put a regex 101 webpage in the link in the description down below as well if you want to screw around a little bit with regular expressions. But this basically means any character and a number between 0 and unlimited characters of them. So it's basically going to look for any character and it's going to allow all of them. By default, it's going to allow everything except for a slash. So that would be something along the lines of that. Everything except the slash. Now it allows us to enter anything we want. And the reason I updated to Symfony 5.1 is because of this priority thing. Watch what happens if I remove the priority and we try to run this React routing portion. Let's refresh the page and boom. Oh, that's not good. It's not loading anymore. What's going on? We got context.todos.slides for version not a function. Oh, yeah, right. Why is this? Because it does not exist. The context has been completely destroyed. API/todo/read does no longer work. It does no longer work. It's just going to go straight to my 404 page that I've implemented. So now this route is absolutely accepting everything, but we don't want that. We still want it to match other routes. So in case like my API/todo/read. So what I've implemented here is a priority, which is now new in Symfony 5.1 and it's absolutely amazing. So I've set the priority of this particular route to be -1. So every other route is going to take priority over this one. So if it doesn't match any of the other routes, which is going to be like API/todo/read, then it's going to default to this one. But because it still allows this parameter, it's not going to conflict with the other routes. So that being solved, we can actually start at looking at React Router. Great. So that is the index controller changed. And again, why is this so strict with Symfony? It's because React is a single page application. We do not want to deviate from that single page, which is that index.html.twig file that contains that div root in it. It's very important that we stay on there because React is a single page application. It's much like an application on your phone. You're not requesting a new page to be loaded. You're just loading it like it's an application. That's why it's called a web application. Okay, got it? So with that being said, let's look at a router. So the router has changed quite a bit. So I've tidied up things a little bit. I've separated them into categories. So we've got React, right here, the React router right here, and we have MIUI components right here, and we have custom components right here. So my components, okay? Now, you're going to need to import React Router DOM. So you're going to run yarn add react-router-dom, and you're going to import that. Then, with that done, you can import these components like so. Then, we're going to look at some other changes that we've made. So above the use styles, and the code on the left is what you should have if you followed along with the previous videos, and the code on the right is the new one. We've added the to-do list right here as a functional component. So to-do list is here, and we now have put the to-do context provider, the app snack bar, and the to-do table in here, and we're going to call upon that later down in the code. So then we go on to the router here actually, and this div has been replaced with the browser router, okay? And the to-do context and all that stuff has been replaced with the switch. Now the switch is a component that renders out components based on the routes that match. So this is the div in which everything is going to be loaded. So this switch is going to have first a redirect. This redirect means that, well, if the path matches exactly slash, it will go to to-do list by default. So we just make sure that if someone goes to our website, so let's say it was santacoca.com, it would instantly go to slash to-do list by default, okay? Or if you want to have it different, you could go slash home by default. Of course, your homepage could also just be your local, which is santacoca.com, for example. But in this case, I'm going to redirect them instantly to the to-do list, because we're also going to have a tag list later down the line, and we don't want to conflict with that, so just going to keep it like so, slash to-do list. Then we have routes here, and again, they match exactly. We're going to talk about what this exact means in just a minute, but basically, if the route matches exactly slash to-do list, then we're going to render out the component to-do list, okay? And the same here, if we go to route exact path, tag list, then we're going to render a component which does not exist, null. And then if none of these match, it's going to look for the last one. So how a switch works, it's going to look through each one of these. It's going to look through this one. It's going to say, okay, are we on route? Yes. Okay, execute this. Okay, does this match? Are we on to-do list? Yes, we are. Okay, so render this component. But when this matches, it will no longer look for these. If, for example, we were to go to slash test, it would look and see if it exactly matches this. No, it doesn't. It will look if it exactly matches this. No, it doesn't. So then it's going to go to whatever matches first, which is going to be this. So the not found page is going to be matching first. So if we go to slash test now, you can see that we get the page 404 not found. Pretty sweet. Okay. So in that not found component, if you're interested, you can do whatever you want in this component, by the way. It's just to show something on screen. It's like, yeah, this page does not exist or whatever. So I've just made a box, text align center, typography with a variant H1, page not found 404, with a nav link around the button. That nav link then has a link to the root again. So this is gonna, if you click on it, go to root. And then we have button right here, with the color primary, variant contained, size large, with the text inside here. Now you could add some use styles on here to prevent this button from having some text decoration on it. I mean, I could just add it in here in line actually. So let's add in a style right here, and we can say text decoration none. And this is important because I'm seeing an underline in here. Oh, maybe we do not need to put it on here, but maybe we need to put it on the nav link. Let's take a look. Refresh. And there we go. I don't want that underline. So this removed that underline pretty quickly. And now that just goes straight to the home page. Now the difference is with how we did it earlier is with href on a Material UI link. The problem with an href or an href is it's just a redirect. It's gonna put itself into the browser search bar and it's gonna redirect to that. We don't want that. Like I said, it's a React application, it's a web application. We do not want redirects to happen or anything of the sort. So instead, we just go instantly back to the component with the React router. React takes care of everything for us in that regard, which is amazing. So with that done, let's look at some other things that we've done here. So the router, let's take a look at the router. So version control, router. So we've added those routes. Pretty cool. To-do list is now different. That has changed. What else has changed? Well, the navigation itself has changed a little bit. I've imported link from React Router DOM and removed it from MIUI components. We've removed that link that no longer exists, as you can see, and we've added typography to the list. Now, we've also added a link to the use styles, so it now has a link object inside of it with text decoration set to none and the color to the theme.palette.text.primary, which is the primary text color, okay? And this is because a nav link is not like a Material UI link that will just not have an underline and not be colored blue. It's still a normal link, and therefore we need to modify the color and set the text decoration to none. Text decoration to none, meaning the underline gets removed, and the color, meaning that it's not going to be blue, but the primary text color of Material UI. So this has been inserted right here. And here on our drawer items, we've added a third property, which is going to be called link, and it's going to link to whatever we want to. So this to-do list text right here in the drawer is now going to refer to /to-do list, and the tags is going to refer to /tag list. Okay. Then I've replaced that link that went to the home page. If we pressed on the to-do app text that is up here, when we clicked it, it would go to the home page. That's still a functionality you can include if you want to do that. You can still put a link around here if you want to, but I've decided to just use typography instead and just have the text here and not redirect at all, and instead just rely on the drawer. Again, if you do not like that and you just want to have that link around it again, you could just go with a nav link around here. We could just say nav link. Nav link allows for styling, I guess. So am I gonna need that? Not really. I'm probably just gonna be better off using a link instead. So let's actually do that. Let's update these to link. There we go. This one as well, link. And the one on the not found page as well. We're gonna update that from nav link to link. And here as well, link. Refresh. See if we got no problems. Looks like we got no problems. And there we go. Let's go to the test or whatever. And great. So yeah, but it still allows for normal styling. So it still allows for, if we go to that link up in the top, we can still add text decoration none if we want to. So we're going to set here a class name, or actually maybe this is where it comes in. So the link does not have class name, I'm guessing. I mean, we could try classes.link. Let's try it out. Ah, it does have it. It just doesn't tell me. So link also has class name, and we can again remove it with the classes.link right here to remove the text decoration and the color at that as well. So link versus navlink, you're gonna have to look up some documentation. It looks like even I have not figured it out yet. I've always used navlink and then link, but I guess I just should be using link. So with link being implemented, we can now start looking at other stuff that has changed. So we've now put that link around the typography again. It will go to the root, although we should change it to go to-do list instantly. Okay. And we have changed this. So the list item right here, as you can see, has been changed quite a bit. Around the list item is now a link with the class name to classes.link from the use styles, and then to prop.link with the key now being moved from the from the list item to the link, because it's the direct parent of the map, or the direct child of the map rather, and that's why the key has to be moved a level up. And with that all done, that's basically it. We've put links for React around our items in the drawer. Okay, pretty cool. So with that being said, let's look at, oh, actually that was all. That's all we changed. So what that resulted into is we can now go to /to-do list or /root. Just go to root and it will redirect us to the to-do list. We can go into here, we can go to the to-do list right here, or to the tags, and it will immediately load the component, as you can see. No refresh required, which is the good thing right here. If we go to the /test, we get a 404 page. or any like non-matching really. So that will always go to a 4.4 page. You will never get a Symfony error. And the only way we can otherwise reach other routes is if another route matches. So route API/read, that is still going to be for the API. So that is React routing. We've done a lot of things here. So let's summarize because it was quite a lot. We've updated Symfony from 5.0 to 5.1. We have added priority to the route of the index. We've added a parameter to the route that will allow us to, and I'll just show it right here. We've added a parameter to the route that's going to allow anything to be entered in it with the dot plus regular expression. Okay. So now we will always end up on this index html.twig. We've added this priority to prevent this route from overruling the API route. So API/to-do/read or whatever other routes we're going to have in the future. If an API route matches, that's going to take priority. Okay. So with that out of the way, we've updated our router. The router, it now has a browser router on it. It has a switch on it. It has some routes in it. Whichever one is first matches will be rendered. We have a not found page at the bottom. We have gone through the navigation bit right here. So we've added the link around it that we've matched. We have changed this link of the typography here. We've done that slightly different. And we've added the link tag list and to-do list to the drawer items. And of course, there's a little link here in the use styles of the navigation. So with that all done, we now have a working browser router that works as intended and is now under complete control on React's side. So with React, we no longer have to worry about going to a route that's going to be somewhat weird or different. So we can now go to our to-do list here. And we're going to get to the correct route. So that has been it. It's been a long video. I'm going to try and edit as much of as I can out of it because it was quite long. Links to everything in the description down below. The branch that we're going to be using or that we used is the router, which I'll commit right now. So commit, implemented React router, commit, and immediately push. So now if we go to my GitHub page, we can now see a new branch, which is router. Okay, router, right here. It looks like I also have a routing. Do not use that one. That one was for testing. Router, that's the one you need. And you can then compare. To see the difference in code, compare drawer to the router branch using this. So let's look at split code, for example, and we can see the changes between all the files. So here is my navigation.js file. You can see what has changed, what has been removed, and you can look through it really simply. And here as well, package.json, composer.log has been changed, composer.json has been changed. Although the composer.log has a large change, so it's not loading it by default. But you should not copy composer.log files. You should not copy composer.json files, really. You should just upgrade by yourself because the time windows at which they were downloaded are also included in there. So you really want to keep track of your own work and just compose or upgrade, not copy and paste them from my package.json or that. Okay, so I've talked a lot. We've done a lot. I've showed you all the upgrades, all the possible errors that you could have encountered, and I hope that this has satisfied your answer. If you have any further questions, leave them in the comments down below. I answer every single one to this date. Yes, there's not one that I haven't replied to, and if I haven't, then it's because the conversation was a dead end. But in general, just this was it. Symfony 5.1, updated priorities. I'm rambling on now. Thank you guys for watching. Leave me a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And check out the playlist as well. You can check it up at the card up here or here. Still need to figure out which finger to use. Check out the playlist right there of all the videos, or check out some of the other videos right here. And you can also go and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or join the Discord community if you want to talk to me directly. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.